This file was not meant to remain open, and yet it found you. You are now entering a recorded field transmission from the Department of Lost Places. This is archive entry 015. The subject of this record is known as the Winter Garden Beneath the Hill. Of all locations presently maintained within department archives, few are more frequently misunderstood. Visitors often expect beauty, and they find it. Others expect mystery, and they find that as well. Yet neither appears to be the true purpose of the garden. The department's current assessment is considerably simpler. The garden exists to preserve beginnings, not visible beginnings, not dramatic beginnings, the quieter kind, the kind that occur long before anyone notices. The winter garden is typically encountered during the latter half of winter, not at the season's end, before it, when snow still covers the landscape, when trees remain bare, when fields appear dormant, when spring feels possible but distant. It is during such periods that travellers occasionally discover a hill. The hill itself is unremarkable. Gentle slopes, snow-covered grass, a scattering of bare trees. Nothing immediately suggests the presence of an archived location. Yet visitors frequently notice something unusual. A door, not attached to any visible structure, not connected to any building, simply a weathered wooden door set into the side of the hill. Accounts remain remarkably consistent regarding its appearance. Green paint, faded by age, iron hinges darkened by time, a brass handle polished through use. The door is always closed, but never locked. Most visitors hesitate before opening it, not from fear, from uncertainty. The door appears so unexpected that it briefly interrupts ordinary assumptions about the world. Yet curiosity almost always prevails. Beyond the threshold lies a staircase descending gently into the earth. Warm light glows below. The scent of soil drifts upward, and with every step the air becomes less like winter. Not warmer, more alive. The staircase eventually opens into an enormous underground garden. Department records consistently describe the same initial reaction. Silence, followed immediately by wonder. The garden extends far beyond what should physically be possible. Glass ceilings arch overhead, stone pathways weave between flower beds, streams cross the landscape beneath elegant bridges. Trees rise towards distant panes of pale winter light. Despite the season outside, the garden thrives. Not abundantly, not extravagantly, quietly. The distinction matters. This is not a garden in full bloom, it is a garden becoming. Many plants remain dormant, buds remain closed, branches remain bare, seeds remain hidden beneath the soil. Yet everywhere there are signs of preparation, subtle indications that growth has already begun. Surveyors frequently report becoming aware of small sounds, roots moving through earth, water travelling beneath stone, leaves slowly unfolding, the almost inaudible activity of things preparing for arrival. The department has never successfully recorded these sounds. Only visitors appear able to hear them. Near the entrance stands a wooden sign, simple, hand-painted, unmistakably old. Its message has remained unchanged throughout every documented encounter. Much is happening. Nothing more. The sign has become one of the most discussed artifacts associated with the garden, because upon first arrival, it appears obviously incorrect. The garden seems calm, still, almost motionless. Only after spending time there do visitors begin to understand the sign is entirely accurate. One of the most frequently documented locations within the garden is known as the Seed Library. Unlike traditional libraries, its shelves contain no books. Instead, countless drawers line the walls. Each drawer contains seeds carefully labelled in elegant handwriting. The labels, however, do not describe plants. They describe possibilities. Confidence, friendship, patience, understanding, creativity, forgiveness, curiosity. The department remains uncertain whether these labels should be interpreted literally, yet visitors consistently report the same impression. The library is not cataloguing flowers, it is cataloguing growth. One surveyor noted that many drawers appeared almost empty, others contained only a single seed. A few held hundreds. When asked what determined the quantity, no explanation could be found. The drawers simply contained what they contained. Further into the garden lies a greenhouse unlike any location documented by the department. Surveyors refer to it as the House of Small Beginnings. Within, countless seedlings emerge from dark soil. None appear remarkable. Most are barely visible. Yet visitors often spend considerable time observing them. The reason remains difficult to articulate. The seedlings seem important, not individually, collectively. Each represents something that had started but not yet become visible to the wider world. An idea, a skill, a friendship, a recovery, a journey. The greenhouse appears dedicated to the earliest stages of transformation, stages often overlooked elsewhere. One particularly intriguing report originates from surveyor Eleanor Finch. While exploring the greenhouse, she encountered an elderly gardener tending several rows of seedlings. The gardener's appearance varies considerably across witness accounts. As with many recurring figures in department records, consistency remains elusive. Yet the conversation reported by Finch appears frequently in other encounters. According to her notes, she asked when the flowers would bloom. The gardener paused before answering. Some already are. Finch reportedly looked around in confusion. Very few flowers were visible. The gardener smiled. People often mistake blooming for growing. The department considers this statement highly significant. Near the centre of the garden stands its most unusual feature, a circular pond surrounded by smooth white stones. The water remains perfectly still, even when visitors approach, even when leaves fall across its surface. Surveyors call it the reflection pond, though the name is unofficial. Those who look into the water do not see the future, nor the past. They see progress, tiny progress, almost invisible progress, the kind that often goes unnoticed in daily life. A path travelled further than expected, a burden carried more easily than before, a fear becoming smaller, a hope becoming stronger. Nothing dramatic, nothing miraculous, only movement. And yet many visitors leave the pond feeling unexpectedly encouraged, because the water reveals something easy to forget. Growth rarely announces itself. Most of the time it happens quietly. The department's most controversial theory concerns the location of the garden itself. Several surveyors have proposed a connection to archive entry 001, the garden that remembers every season. According to this theory, the winter garden may occupy a different region of the same vast ecological archive, a hidden counterpart existing beneath the visible landscape, a place where seasons prepare before arriving elsewhere. Evidence remains inconclusive. The department neither confirms nor rejects the hypothesis. The possibility, however, remains under active review. Departure from the garden occurs by the same staircase through which visitors arrived. The ascent feels shorter than expected. The winter air returns gradually. The hill emerges once more. When travellers turn around, the door is gone. Only snow-covered earth remains. Yet many visitors carry a lasting impression afterwards. A sense that important developments may be occurring beyond immediate perception, beneath the surface, beneath the season, beneath the hill. The department classifies the winter garden beneath the hill as type, seasonal growth habitat, preparatory ecology site, renewal archive, access level, occasional, most frequently encountered during periods when progress appears absent despite continued effort. Final note from the archivist. Winter has a reputation for stillness. The garden offers another perspective. Stillness and inactivity are not the same thing. A field may appear empty while roots continue growing. A tree may appear lifeless while preparing its return. A person may appear unchanged while becoming someone entirely new. Perhaps that is the lesson preserved here. Not that growth eventually arrives, but that growth often begins long before anyone notices, including ourselves. This concludes archive entry 015. The record is sealed. The seedlings remain tended. The roots continue their work. End transmission.